Good morning, students. Summary of the poem All the Words a Stage. Stage number one All the words a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being seven ages. At first, the infant mewling and poking in the nurse's arms. Explanation and summary. In the poem, the Shakespeare compares the entire world to a theatrical stage where all the human beings perform their allotted role given by the God. Every individual has to go through seven acts that are seven stages of man life, one after the other. Each and every stage is entirely different from the other. The first stage in this phase of his life, man appears as a child in the world. As a child, he is a helpless creature. He cries in the arms of his nurse for one reason or the other. He cries and vomits. Stage second and third, then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress eyebrow. Summary of second and third. The next phase of his life, man appears as a child in the world. He goes to school with a bag hanging from his shoulder. He goes to the school creeping like a snail. He marches to the school unwillingly. In the third stage of his life, a man plays the part of a lover. He grows into a young man full of desires, ambitions, and dreams. He becomes a romantic young man. He falls in love and sighs like a furnace. He begins to write sad poems to his beloved. He cannot control his sad feelings. This is the stage second and third. Coming to the stanza, the next stanza, that is stage four. Then a soldier, full of strange oath and beard like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth, that is in danger situation. Coming to the explanation and summary of stage 4, in the fourth stage of his life, man becomes a foul-mouthed soldier who has learned queer words at this stage. He tries to give himself a formidable, means formal look with a beard like a pard. He is emotional and jealous. He quarrels with others for his honor and grace. He hankers after temporary and bubble fame and reputation. Coming to the stage fifth, and then the justice in fair round belly with good cap and lined, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. Coming to the explanation, summary of stage fifth. In the fifth stage of his life, he becomes a judge. He becomes mature and experienced in his thoughts. The heat of youth has completely cooled down and he becomes very realistic. He wishes to grab wealth by foul or fair means. He begins to accept bribe and thus adds much to his material comforts. He becomes ease loving and therefore becomes fat. His belly becomes round. He eats Healthy fowls and chicken presented to him as a bribe. His eyes become severe and he grows the beard of formal cut. As a middle aged man, we can say, coming to the next stage of stanza, that is stage 6. The sixth age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon with spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful horse, well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk rank and his big manly voice turning again towards childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Coming to the summary of stage 6, then in the sixth stage of his life, man grows old. He looks quite ridiculous in his movements. He wears glasses because his eyesight is weak. His shoes become wide for his feet. His voice suffers a change. It becomes a shrill and quivering whistle like sound because of non existence of teeth in his mouth, we can say. Coming to the next stanza, that is stage 7, last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history, is second childishness and mere oblivion. Science teeth, science eyes, science teeth, science everything. Science means without. Coming to the explanatory portion, however, in the final stage, the man turns into child once again. He seems to forget everything. He becomes toothless. His eyesight is weakened and he is deprived of taste. He is ready to leave this world. Shakespeare has the 7 stages of man's life with a touch of satire and cynicism. In each stage, man imagines himself great and important, but there is something ridiculous in his behavior all through his life. What is strange? We can see each and every stage is different from the other stage. Shakespeare has described each of the man's life stage with great economy of words. He uses living and concrete images to describe the different stages of life. The use of the word mewling, of the infant's cry, and the schoolboy's reluctance for going to school, described in phrases creeping like a snail, are examples of living images. Shakespeare is famous for his realism. Conclusion, Shakespeare wants to render a message through this poem. All the words are stage, that men and women are merely players in the drama of life. They are termed as merely players because no one lives forever but plays his or her part and departs. At birth, they enter a stage and during death, they leave it. Man passes through 7 phases of life in accordance with their ages and peculiar features. Thanks for watching.